Greetings. Live in the end, because the end is the beginning and the beginning is the end. I wish I would have heard that kind of message before the age of 40. But fortunately, I was still able to get the message of how imagination creates reality and how I can create my reality consciously if I learn to live from the end. You see, when you realize that whatsoever you design this world, it already exists in your consciousness, but you are unaware of it. But there is power in awareness. And so when my awareness was aroused and I received the knowledge of self, and I realized that there's no one to change and no one to blame but self, then I started working upon myself. At the time, I was exactly at the age of 4 and 5. But before that, when I was 30 years of age, when the man walked from the burning bush that doesn't consume and gave me my commission, I knew that I had a calling and I had a work to do, but I had to wait. And it took me 15 years before the revelation of it. And the revelation of it came through an awakened experience that I had, where I experienced the birth from the skull, where I experienced the mighty shaking, when I heard that unearthly wind, and I ascend like a fiery being and exit my skull in another form and give birth, to a son that later called me father. So I'm saying all of this because it is not just about manifesting and living the life that you want to live on this planet, because life here on this planet is temporal. And there is the law that you can use to ease the blows of Caesar, because Caesar have the taxes and all these things that you have to attend to. But what they do not want you to really discover is the promise. And this promise is to all of humanity, that the day will come when you would awake. You that sleepeth, you would one day awake and come to know your higher self. And when you come to know your higher self, you would understand the inner working of alchemy and know what it means to live from the end. You see, all billionaires, multi-millionaires, all these people, the life that they are living is because they live that life from within before they live it without. Because they learn to appreciate how to live from the end. You see, when you realize that everything is basically based on cause and effect, and that everything exists in consciousness, and eternity is within you, it's downloaded in you. And you can read that in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 11. And when you realize that the Bible is actually a book of mind science, you would realize that spirituality and science, that they are one. And so when you start to live from the end, it is you living in the wish, fulfill. You're not hoping, you're not wishing that things might happen. You're 100% sure, because you realize that thoughts become things, and you realize that we become what we think about most of the time. And so you start to align your mind in a way to give you the desired results that you want to experience in life. You fully understand why the Bible says that you must not be conformed, but you must be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so you start to rearrange your mind, and things start to happen to you in a scientific way, and also in a spiritual way, and also in a psychological way. And so you start to understand that everything is connected. You start to understand your oneness. And all of that starts to bring you in alignment And that is what's going to give you faith to believe in yourself. So faith is not about you believing in any entity outside of yourself. It is you knowing and understanding your anatomy, your physiology, your biology, and your psychology. And you bring in all that energy with that understanding of your higher self. And you manipulate that energy into the equivalent of whatsoever you desire in this three-dimensional physical world, where you can contact it by the five senses. So my brother, my sisters, when you get the message of how to live in the end, and you start to live in the end, you'll be living in a golden age, because you will understand Solomon and how Solomon seek for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding first. Then riches follow after he received that wisdom, that knowledge, and that understanding. And then you will know that Solomon is the Son man, the Son in man, which is the light in man. And that is why you're told that the Lord thy God is a sun, a SUN, and a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you. And that is why I have a course that's called the Inner Sun Science and Technology to create your reality consciously. Because when you start to live from the end, it is you operating the inner sun science and technology. You realize that whatever the sun shines upon, it brings forth bountifully. And do you know that light is within you? Do you know that the spark of God is within you? And so you have to do everything the opposite way from what the world would have tell you. Because, for example, the world will have you gather every Saturday and every Sunday to pray. And you will live your life not knowing that true prayer is actually desire and meditation. And that you're supposed to commune with your own heart upon your bed and go into that place of meditation, that place of stillness, that place of visualization, where you can act out your mental movie, okay, and live your life whichever way you want it to be, because you're the author, you're the director, you're the producer, you're the star in your own movie, you're the captain of your own destiny. You have everything in your own hands, but you have to understand how to live from the end. You see, the moment you have a desire for something in this world, it is already yours. That's why you have to live from the end, because that desire, the reason why you have that desire, it is because it exists in consciousness. Most likely it is because you can see it, you can behold it, and once you can see it, you can hold it in your hands. You see, you have to understand the mind of the thinker and the hands of the doer. It's very important for you to understand how your mind must work in connection with your hands and your feet. That is why you have to take inspired action. So, my brother, my sisters, if you believe that you're living from the end, you definitely have to take inspired action. Okay? And so, when you go into meditation, when you go into visualization, you're not going into those exercises hoping and wishing. Everything that you do in this physical three-dimensional realm, that is what you do in that fourth dimension. So if you want to drive, you drive in that dimension. If you want to live in a mansion, you live in a mansion in that dimension. If you want to have millions, you'll have millions in that dimension. And you act as if it is so forced. Then you start to live your life as if. And an assumption, though false, if you continue in it, it harden into fact. It will definitely become a fact. Okay? But the reason why that is so, and most people do not realize how it works, it is because most people believe that there's some man in the sky that is giving them their desires. They believe that there's some man 2,000 years ago that is giving them their desires, because the clergy make you separate yourself from science and technology. when there's only one power in this world? Do you realize everything in this world was first a thought, it was first an idea, it was first imagined, it was first mental, it was first psychological? Do you realize the power of your imagination? Do you know that your imagination can form and mold and shape and reshape? And do you know Jeremiah 18 tell you about the pattern? And do you know when he speaks about the pattern, he's not speaking of anything or anyone outside of yourself? It is the shaping power that you have in you, that healing power you have in you, that redeeming power you have in you, that innovative and creative power that you must tap into. That is why when you discover the kingdom of God within you, it is you discovering the kingdom of creativity, the kingdom where all things are possible to you. And when you start to live in the possibilities, you have to live from the end. So, my brother and my sister, start to live from the end. Okay? From your beginning is your end, and your end is your beginning. That's when you begin to live by faith, when you start to live from the end. So with that being said, my brother and my sister, I can go on and on and on. We're going to come to a close here. And I want to thank you very much for listening to me. I want to say to you, if this is the very first time that you listen to me, and what I'm saying, if it really resonates with you, is really helping you, and you haven't subscribed already, I'm definitely encouraging you to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share this video. Also, if you like to follow me on Instagram, you like to follow me on TikTok, you can definitely follow me at Black Mad Guru. And if you haven't gotten none of my books as yet, I'll definitely encourage you to check out all of the links that are down below and get my books, like How to Turn Water into Wine, Your Mood is Your Fortune, The Secret Vagina, Mystery of the Virgin Birth, Can't Be Proven Wrong, How to Open the Floodgates of an Abundance, and much more. Okay, also you can get the 66 books of magic, the Overcomer's Bible, where Jesus has been omitted and there's a blank space for you to write your name, which is I Am. Do you know I Am is the name of all of humanity? Do you know you can never say I am and not referring to yourself? Okay, so I'll definitely encourage you to get that book. Also, if you like to do a one-on-one with me, you can reach out to me directly by way of email, and we can definitely work together. Also, if you would like, we can do one-on-one on an app called Feature. So you have a preference. You can either reach out to me and we do it, okay, or you can do it on the Feature app. The choice is yours. Also, if you like to become a part of my Patreon community, you're most welcome. And I have a course there for people donating $20 or more. It's called the Inner Sun Science and Technology to Create Your Reality Consciously. And along with that is a bonus course on self-concept. So my last encouragement to you is to just make sure that you check out all of the links that are down below and let your intuition lead you and guide you into what to do. So with that being said, I just want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.